next speaker is one of the pioneers of Riway Philippines. I dare say he is the most qualified to talk about Riway Philippines because he has been with us throughout these years, even before we had an office. Through the ups and the downs, through the challenges and the victories, until today, he has grown very much as a leader. If someone else were to be in his place in the beginning, I don't think they will be able to persevere and end up in the position he is today. Who is he? He is Team Supreme Pegasus 1, One Ring, Raymond Tong.
Thank you for the introduction, James. Good evening. Today, I represent Riway International as a speaker, and I am Team Supreme Pegasus 1, One Ring, Raymond Tong. Utmost gratitude to Riway International, as well as the General Manager of Riway Philippines, James Cheong, for this opportunity as one of the distinguished speakers for today's leadership training seminar. My topic for this evening is building a perfect team. Now, you might be wondering, Raymond, you are solid. You got a perfect team. That is why this is your topic today. No, you are entirely wrong. If I think that this team is perfect, there would not be any room to improve, nor would there be any drive to become stronger, to become bigger. Instead, it will be the beginning of the downfall of the group. Don't you think so? That is the exact reason why people have negative perceptions towards multi-level marketing or direct selling. It is because when certain companies start to break through good records or achieve a certain turnover, the mindset of the leaders start to change. They think that it is already enough, it is already good, it is already big. They change their mindset. They change the marketing plan, or worst case scenario, they shut down the company. They instead formulate their own method and culture. I believe this is no secret, am I right? Just like in a country, if the leader of the entire country is not good, the people in the country will suffer. If the principal in the school is not disciplined, the students will not be disciplined as well, causing the school to have a bad reputation. It is the same in an army. If the army goes to war, the general is nowhere to be found. The army would probably lose the war. In the company meets a problem. The boss decides to close the company. Instead of seeking solutions, its employees will be left in dire straits. Similarly, in multi-level marketing, a leader possesses such responsibilities as well. If a group starts to grow and the leader does not want to take up responsibility and all he wants is to take instead of contribute, sit around, relaxing, shaking his leg while waiting for income without taking action, what do you think will happen to the group? Can you imagine if Riway is like this? Can you imagine if our boss is like this? That is why I always feel so lucky that I'm in Riway. Time and again, year and after year, our boss always says that Riway has not even begun, when Riway has already achieved a turnover of over 100 million Singapore dollars. Now, even when Riway's turnover has surpassed billions of US dollars in the near future, those will still be his exact words. We have yet to begin. That is why Riway is getting bigger and bigger. I am so thankful and grateful that not only our boss is like this, those following in his footsteps, like our senior directors, general managers, and even down to the managers, they possess this same mentality. In other words, for an entire organization or a group to move outwards. The whole entire organization has to move together as one entity. Riway is a group that is exactly like this. Not only the higher management is moving, but the entire organization, including managers down to the executives, are all moving together, fighting together. It will never be the case if the people at the top are not doing anything and expect everyone below to put in the work. A group like this will never expand. This is the outcome of an influential environment, one that is created and duplicated in Riway. It is an environment that reminds each and every one of us to move out of our comfort zone, to not feel that we have enough, do not feel that we don't need to improve anymore. This culture and mindset that Riway possesses is passed down to every single leader, every single group. Therefore, this environment is extremely crucial. For as long as we position ourselves as a leader, this is the exact mindset we got to have. With this correct kind of mindset, do not think what we can take from this country. Instead, think of what we can contribute to this country. Do not ask what this company can give you. Instead, think of how we can contribute to this company. Do not ask what this group can give you. Instead, think of what you can contribute to this group. And in turn, the group will expand, the group will grow. Can you imagine if every single leader possesses this mindset? What will be the result in the next 3 years? What will it be like in the next 5 years? The results will be extremely scary. Don't you think so? Prior to going to the Philippines, I was using my own methods to develop a group and had some success in doing so. However, that success could not sustain because the methods were not duplicatable and my leadership was questionable. It came to a point where I wanted to give up on Riway because I ran into financial problems. But what came disguised as an opportunity was when Team Supreme Pegasus 2, Wandering Alan Kang, offered me to be his translator as he intended to expand Riway business in the Philippines. And when we were talking, I realized that the root cause of my downfall was my inability to reflect and examine what I have done wrong and change accordingly. So I decided to go to the Philippines with him. I emptied my cup to relearn again. I drew my observations throughout my many encounters, not only from Alan, but also from Riway business development managers then, like Ted Tan, Yen Chua, Jackie Lim, and most of all, our present General Manager James, speaking highly on how they were mentored by Riway Chief Development Officer, Dato Kenny Wong. I realized that the way that they talk, the standards that they have, the attitude that they possess, down to the looks, it is extremely similar to our boss. James did mention before that if you want to be as successful as the big leaders in Riway, the method is simple. Just duplicate what they are doing up to 100%. Have you heard of the 3I before? The first one stands for imitate. The second stands for innovate. And the last one for invent. But in order for us to invent, we first need to learn how to imitate. We must be able to follow and we must be disciplined in duplicating. Now, there will be some who did follow but yet did not achieve similar results. Why? And that is only because they did not follow 100%. They did not discipline themselves 100%. I believe that even before we start duplicating, we have to know our positioning first. Now, when I say positioning, I'm not talking about the position of a Diamond 1 star or a Team Elite. The positioning I am talking about is, do we set ourselves at the right position? Do we position ourselves as leaders? Do we see ourselves as leaders? If we are prepared to be leaders and we position ourselves as leaders, only then there would be value in going through that journey of becoming the best follower. In other words, as what our boss always say, become the best downline that you want to have. Become the best person to collaborate with. Become the best candidate to work together with. What kind of downline and partners that we want depends entirely on we taking up the responsibility to become that person first. We become the best downline first. Only then our group will follow. You may ask, what to follow? What to duplicate? Now, there are 4 different realms to a human being. The outermost realm is the physical realm, followed by the mental realm, the emotional realm, and the last is the spiritual realm. Now, I will not go into these 4 different realms. However, the easiest and the simplest one to duplicate is to start from the outermost, the physical appearance. How these successful people in Riway look is how we will look. Only then can we slowly start to work inwards towards their thinking. But if we are unable to even duplicate the way they look on the outside, it is going to be more difficult to start thinking like them because we are unable to see their thoughts. If we cannot even accomplish the simplest thing, don't even need to think about success. It is still extremely distant. But once we are able to duplicate from the outermost realm, we can slowly work towards inside. But the thing is, these different realms of human being is very closely interrelated. Why do I say that? Take, for example, if the way that you walk is awfully slow, do you think that your thinking will be fast? Definitely not. Which means to say, if we are able to influence and change our actions just by walking faster, it can influence our mind to think faster. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, to emulate a successful person's thinking, example, if I want to think like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, the only way I can try to emulate and start to think the way that they think is to pick up their books and read. The reason why we must read is because we are not able to be around them physically or to interact with them. But in Riway, the attitude of Riway, the culture of Riway, the style of work in Riway, all comes from our boss thinking and his character. And the important point is that we are able to come across this easier than outside. We have leaders training seminar for us to learn from, just like how I unlearn everything, emptied my cup, and absorb everything from this kind of events. Riway to me is like a big educational institution, teaching us many life experiences and humanistic philosophy inherent to our success in life. More importantly is we are able to be closer to the company, to the big leaders and the higher management in Riway. Now, once we position ourselves at the right position as a leader, just like in an army, the general is the one with the highest ability, or else the army will not even submit to his instructions and directions. In other words, the leader of the group needs to be highly capable and have strong abilities in order to become the person that the people will admire and be willing to listen to. I remember what our boss says. Do not point fingers at other people. Do not blame other people for your failures and mishaps. Because if one finger is pointing at others, remember, at least 3 fingers are pointing back at you. This is to remind us not to blame others, not to put responsibilities on others. Everything starts from ourselves. It is always easier to put the blame on others, but I learned this the hard way. If we put that responsibility to learn from our failures, to better ourselves, and reflect on how we can do better in future, the only person who will benefit from all of it most is none other than ourselves. So, to build a perfect team, start to position yourself as a leader. Take up the responsibility. Become the one that has the best ability. Become the one that is most capable, so as to be able to set an example that your group can emulate. If you can do that, the result will be something unimaginably huge. Just like how the name of our company Reway reminds our boss to do things the right way. I will always remind myself that this team is still work in progress, so that we can continually grow and expand, maybe in the coming 5 years, in the coming 10 years. I'm about to conclude my sharing today. Let me just say this. To me, there's no need for us to seek external tools. There's no need for us to seek external motivational activities, because this environment needed for us to become better leaders is right in front of us. All we need is just to open our eyes and notice these things that the leaders are setting examples. There is no shortcut to building a perfect team. The only way is to start from yourself. I will end my sharing here. Thank you.